Hey, 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 come on in, come on in, come on in. Good evening. If you are here with me now, you know that if you're joining live, it is Tuesday. The time is 8 p.m. Central. And I just want to thank you in advance for coming to just see what the Lord dropped in my spirit here at Tea Talk Tuesday. We are excited, so excited about what God is doing, what is happening, not only around us, but also in us. And I just want to thank you again for joining us. Tea Talk Tuesday is a platform where our goal and our mission is to edify, encourage, and empower. And if we haven't had the chance to meet, I am T. Carter. I'm the creator and founder of Tea Talk Tuesday. And in last week, we were talking about the faith to endure. And I'm just going to jump right in because what really has been resonating with me this year is the ability not only to finish strong, but how many of you know that in order to finish strong, I have to also have the ability to start strong? Because how I start is going to be critically important and it's going to be a key indicator of how I finish. And generally, what happens is that the reason that we begin any process is because there's something that we're looking to achieve, there's something that we're looking to change, there is something in our lives that we want to be different. And in the beginning, we know that we have the potential. The fact is that we're born with everything that we need to become who we were intended to be. But sometimes along the way, we encounter obstacles that may distract us, detour us, and discourage us from fully developing the potential that we were born with. What I've come to understand is that potential is an ingredient, it's not a guarantee, meaning that potential in and of itself is not enough. Potential is needed in the beginning, but perseverance is required to produce the promise. We know that the Bible tells us in Galatians 5 and 7, you did run well. Who hindered you that you did not obey the truth? And so, but if you look up the definition of hinder, it means that it created difficulties for me. It resulted in delay or obstruction. And that resonates with me because the things that I experience in life they have the ability to hinder me, but they don't have the ability to stop me because I'm going to be honest, only I can do that. But if I'm not careful, the difficulties and delays can produce discouragement and disillusionment inside of me, and sometimes they cause me to want to give up. And if you look up the word discouraged, they cause us to lose our confidence or our enthusiasm. And disillusionment means that I lost the faith or trust something that I formerly regarded as good or valuable. Like I was really running after being debt free, but something happened and I lost faith. I was really running after my healing, but something happened and I didn't see it as valuable. I was really running after the thing that God promised me that I can have, but somewhere along the way, something happened to me and the way that I view it, the way that I believe. The Bible says, the Bible says, yes, God, I believe, but help my unbelief. There was something that I encountered. There was something that I experienced. There was something that I endured that made me wonder, God, I know that you're a healer, but it may have made me question, will you heal me? Maybe it's for everybody else and maybe it's not for me. Why? Because I've endured things. I've been hurt and I've been broken and I've cried more tears than I can cry. And I've tried time after time after time. And it seems like the more I run to that thing, the more opposition that I encounter that makes me want to stop. It makes me want to give up because the truth is I ain't no fighter. The truth is I ain't no killer. But sometimes you keep pushing me and you keep pushing me and you keep pushing me. And if I'm not careful and if I don't keep my eyes fixed on what God said and what He promised, if I lose sight of the fact that His strength is made perfect in my weakness, if I forget that He who began a good work in me will complete it and perform it, sometimes if I'm not careful, I can become discouraged and disillusioned. Because all of us, we talk about transformation and we talk about change. And in theory, we love the idea of transformation. We love the idea of change. We love the idea of, I'm not what I want to be, but I'm not what I used to be. We love this idea of forward progress. But in reality, how many of us crossed the finish line that we were aiming for in the beginning? The truth is that sometimes we settle and sometimes we give up and sometimes we walk away because the process of change can be challenging. I understand that that transformation is a drastic change in form and appearance. See, it doesn't only impact what I look like, but it alters who I am. If you look up the description of transformation, it is the bringing together of parts to combine or create something new. See, I used to be discouraged about my depression, and I may have been discouraged about anxiety, and I may have looked at my health condition as something that would hinder me. But as my mind is renewed and as I'm transformed, those things begin to come together and it begins to create something new. Somewhere along the way, I went from not having any confidence from being very confident. Somewhere along the way, I replaced my failure with faith. Somewhere along the way, I was comfortable, but now I've been conformed. See, there's something about this transformation because what I understand is it happens behind the scenes. It happens in the dark place, in the midnight hour. See, personal transformation doesn't occur in a crowd. It's an individual experience. But the process of transformation can be challenging because it's somewhere along the line, I no longer identify with who I was, but I don't actually fit who I will become. And so I find myself torn between two opinions. I find myself in this place where nothing really fits and no one really understands. And there is a resemblance of who I used to be, but I'm also seeing something that I don't recognize coming through. And if I'm not careful, somewhere in that process, I get discouraged. I get disillusioned because people want to talk about, oh, I remember when. I remember when you used to do this, and I remember when you used to do that. But I'm not worried about that because I don't do that no more. I remember when it used to be okay, and you used to give people a yes, even when you wanted to say no. But somewhere along this transformation process, you learned the value of setting boundaries. And the Bible says, "Let your yes be yes, and your no be no." And sometimes when I used to say yes and then complain all the time, I used to say yes and go ahead and cry at night. I used to say yes and go home empty, and people didn't care because they benefited from my lack of boundaries. But when the wall came up, now you got a problem with me. Now you don't know how to interact with me. Now you don't want to talk with me, and you think I'm acting funny. But the truth is, I'm just transforming. The truth is, I'm just changing. And I can't really explain it to you because the truth is, I don't understand it myself. All I know is what was can no longer be. And what I'm becoming is not in full view, but I know that I'm growing. I know that I'm stretching. I know that God is removing things and He's adding other things. He's bringing these parts together to combine and create something new. And so I want to encourage you that if that resonates with you, if you're in this process of transformation, if you're in this process to say, God, I used to be comfortable here. I used to could sit here and be okay. I used to be in this place and I would be at peace. But now I find myself frustrated. I find myself irritated. And everybody else is acting like everything's okay. But here's the thing. I may have leveled up. And the thing about levels, if I've never climbed the mountains, but I've researched it, and the higher you go, the air gets thinner. And see, sometimes I want to bring people along, but you can't come along with me because you've not been trained to breathe on this level. And if I bring you on this level, you may faint, you may pass out. And the truth is, I can't bring you along because I need everything I got to get myself where I'm trying to go. Sometimes I got to let you go in order to reach. I have to press forward. The Bible says, forgetting those things which are behind. That means things and that means people. Sometimes I got to forget about who I thought would be with me all the way. I got to forget about who I thought would never leave me or forsake me. I got to forget about the things that I will always be. All these clicks and all these mindsets that I picked up, and I was born with them. Went through college, and I picked them up, and I had my crew, but now my crew won't do. I had my little group, but now they frustrate me, and nothing is changing but me. And I have to be okay to forget the things that are behind and press forth. I got to use all of my effort and all of my energy to press forth, to keep moving. See, pressing requires action. I can't press and stay stagnant. I can't press and be paralyzed. I can't press and be frozen. No, if I'm going to press, I also have to apply pressure. I have to apply pressure towards the thing that I'm moving toward, even if I don't fully understand. All of my thoughts and all of my vision has to be forward, because I can't do anything about what's behind. Yes, it may have broke my heart, and yes, it may have broke my spirit, but the truth is, it's over now. The truth is, I got through it. The truth is that it didn't kill me. It didn't kill me, and it will not bury me. In this season, I just want to encourage you not only to start strong, but to also finish strong. And that means in the middle, I have to maintain my strength. And you may say to me, that I feel weak right now. That sounds really good, and I really want to do that, but I feel weak right now. But I came to remind you that the joy of the Lord is your strength, and if you get your joy back, you'll find some strength. But not only that, I came to remind you that God's strength is made perfect in our weakness. Sometimes the reason that we're disillusioned and the reason that we're discouraged, the reason that we're discouraged is because we're trying to do it in our own strength. We're trying to do it in a way that makes sense to us. We're trying to do it in a way where I can figure it out and I can control it. And I understand, because that's me too. I would love for Jesus sometimes to be in the car with me, but to let me keep the wheel. I mean, and if I can't keep the wheel, can I control the brake? Or if I can't control the brake, can I go ahead and take the gas pedal? Because sometimes I feel like we're moving too fast, and sometimes I feel like we're not moving fast enough. God, if you want to take the wheel, can I be the GPS? Can I have some input into what we're doing? But I understand that many are the plans of my heart, but it is the Lord's will that will prevail. It is the Lord's will that will prevail. And so I just have to remember to trust in the Lord with all my heart and to lean not into my own understanding. Because in all my ways, if I acknowledge God, then He will direct my path. He will direct my path through this transformation. He will direct my path through this process. He will direct my path, and I will wind up in the position that He ultimately wants me to be. So I came to encourage you today to make a declaration that not only am I going to start strong, and not only am I going to finish strong, but in the middle of this process, I'm going to hold fast to my strength, because I understand that the joy of the Lord is my strength. People may be acting crazy, but the joy of the Lord is my strength. Money may be acting funny, but the joy of the Lord is my strength. Bills may be due, but the joy of the Lord is my strength. Mind all over the place, but the joy of the Lord is my strength. I want to encourage you to get your joy back. But not only that, to remember that in every area that you feel like you're weak, in every area that you feel like you don't have enough, in every area that you feel like you are insufficient, I want to remind you that God's strength is made perfect in your weakness. And so we're going to start strong, and yeah, we're going to finish strong, but we're going to maintain that strength. We come against the spirit of drawback, the spirit that wants to make us change our mind, the spirit that wants to make us feel like it's too hard, that I can't do it, that I don't have enough. The devil is a liar. In this season, we're going to start strong. We're going to stay strong so that we can finish strong. But sometimes in order for us to maintain our strength, we need a strategy. And so in this season, I just want to encourage you to consider your strategy. Like, did you set a goal? Do you know where you're going? What is your target? Where are you trying to land? And then what is your training schedule? My apostle tells me, she says, one is not a date. Put a date on it. What am I trying to accomplish, and when will I do it? I set a goal, and then I plan my training schedule, and then I commit my work to the Lord. I commit my work to the Lord. The truth is, if I'm not praying at all, my goal may be to pray for an hour, but the reality is, I probably need to start praying for a minute. The truth is, if I get to 14 days and then I give up, then before I say I'm going to do this in 3 months, maybe my first goal is I'm going to do it in 15 days. That's the truth. I'm going to plan my work and then I'm going to commit my work to the Lord. Because the truth is, we need to build a base. We need to start off slowly. Where am I now? And where do I want to be? And then can we baby step it? Because the Bible says that the Lord rejoices to see the work begin. Yes, I know I got a goal. And yes, I know I'm going to get there. But the Lord rejoices to see the work begin. If I can do more this week than I did last week, and I can do more next week than I did this week, then I'm still making progress. And I build up my confidence, and I build up my resilience, and I build up my resistance with consistency. It helps me to build and develop endurance if I'm just consistent. And it doesn't matter what everyone else can do. What can I do to build up my base, to start slowly, to say, God, I know that you rejoice to see the work begin. And so I make a decision to start. I make a decision, God, to start. And then after I've been consistent, past what I normally, from past the time that I would normally tap out, then I can build in some longer extensions. So maybe now I can go from 10% increase to 15% increase. But I do it at a comfortable pace because I'm building stamina, but I don't want to overexert myself. I still want to keep consistent momentum. I'm building stamina, and the reason that I'm building stamina is because I don't have it. Because if I had it, I wouldn't have to build it. And so I'm building stamina. And after I have this consistency, then I can probably try to make it more challenging, but still sustainable. Right? Maybe, I increase the tempo, I go a little further, but I still maintain consistency. Because most of us conform because we aren't consistent when the challenges come. That's when most of us tap out. It's not that we don't have the ability to do it. It's that we lack the consistency. And then also to really not neglect the rest and recovery. I'm trying these things. I'm building new muscle. I'm figuring out how to do this and how to do that. And I don't want to overload and go so far and overextend and overexert myself because, I'm so far behind. But the Bible says that the steps of a good man are ordered by the Lord. And he says that all things work together for my good. So no matter where I am in life, even if I feel like I'm behind, God knew that I would be in this place at this time with these emotions, with these challenges, and he promised that his strength would be made perfect in my weakness. And so I want to encourage you to take time to rest and to recover. The truth is, some things we need to recover from. Some bullets that we take mentally, emotionally, spiritually, we need to recover from. Because if you think about it, I was watching or reading something, I don't remember, but it says that deliverance, if I were to be shot with a gun, which I will not be, but if I would, deliverance is removing the bullet. But healing is adhering to the damage. So sometimes we need to allow our body to recover. The truth is, I took a hit. And it impacts the way that I trust. Not only people, but God. The truth is, I took a hit. And it impacted my confidence. The truth is, I took a hit. And now I close myself off and I don't want anybody to touch me. Why? Because I may have been delivered, I haven't been healed. And so I need time to recover. And the thing about it is, if you have a bodily injury, you don't create your own recovery plan. You go to someone who has the knowledge, the experience, and the authorization, be it licensure, and ask them how to recover. And generally, they'll give you a plan. And sometimes, depending on the extent of the injury, you may have to go through physical therapy. You may have to go through surgery. There's some things that may have to be done. And my treatment plan may not look like your treatment plan, even though we may have the same injury, but it may have impacted us different. So I just want to encourage you um, to take the necessary time to recover. And once I am recovered, then I have to start building the muscle again. And so I may not be able to do what I was able to do before I took the hit after I healed, because now I have to rebuild it. And so I don't have to get discouraged, because the truth is I'm rebuilding and rebuilding something better. And if I'm rebuilding it right, I'm building in a way that I'm incorporating strength so that it prevents future injuries. I don't want to re-injure this thing again, because even though it's healed, it may still be vulnerable. It may not be as strong as it was before I took the hit. And so I have to set boundaries. I have to make sure that I'm guarding this thing in a way that is going to be beneficial for what I believe God for. And then I need to make sure that I have a balanced diet, not only in the natural, but also in the spirit, and that I'm hydrated, that I'm not allowing my cup to run empty. Like, I need my cup to overflow if I'm going to endure to the end. I need to eat a balanced diet. Like, some things may be good, but if I'm really learning and growing and I want to be this person, then there may be things that I need to intake that, I know I'm on this journey now, and some things that they were like, eat, I don't have an appetite for that. But I realized that my appetite has to change. Like, there's some things that I got an appetite for that are not beneficial, and they're not balanced. And there are things that I don't have an appetite for that they are beneficial, because it's going to help my body to produce at optimal capacity. And so then I have to make a decision um, what I'm going to eat, because that's going to determine what I'm able to produce. And then also to make sure that we have the right equipment. Do we have on the full armor? And I was researching about marathons for something else I'm doing, and it says that not only do you have to invest in a good pair of running shoes if you're going to run a marathon, you need to make sure they provide adequate support. You need to make sure they fit well. But then you have to replace them every 300 to 500 miles, because what is good for now won't be good for the next level. And so I have to constantly be aware of what I've clothed myself with. I have to constantly be aware of what I put on, because sometimes I need to take them off and need to replace them, because even though it was an investment that was good for that level or good for that season, it may not be suitable for where I'm going. It may not have the ability to endure at the level that I need it to endure, or it may not be conducive for where I'm going once I reach a certain level. And then finally, just want to encourage you to mentally prepare. Like, we're going to stay strong. We're going to start strong. We're going to finish strong. But right now, I just want to encourage you to stay strong in the middle of it when times get hard. Because if you look at the marathon, everybody's cheering on the beginning when you start, and when you cross the finish line, there's a crowd there. But as you're going through, if you look at them when they're running, or even on the triathlons, in the middle, there's a couple people. But I have to remain fixed and focused, regardless of who shows up, regardless of who's rooting for me, regardless of who's encouraging me. I just have to maintain my confession of faith. Some people say you use positive affirmations, but I believe that we can decree a thing and it shall be established. The truth is, sometimes I may be in a dark place, but the Bible says that, yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, thou art with me. The Bible says that if I make my bed in hell, he is there. I just need to mentally prepare, understanding that he who began a good work in me, God, you know me before you formed me in my mother's womb, and you predestined me. That means I had destiny before I had breath. I had destiny before I had a name. I had destiny before anybody knew what I looked like. I had destiny when you brought me out when I was a baby. I had destiny when I messed up. I had destiny when I missed the mark. I had destiny when I took the L, and I still got destiny because you predestined me for greatness. And so I keep my eyes fixed on Jesus. I keep my eyes fixed. I look up. Sometimes it's the things that are around us that keep us still and stagnant. There are people around us who are saying, "Child, that was me. I wouldn't do." And child, I would tell you, it ain't my business, but let me offer you this opinion. But I want to caution you to be very careful to take opinions from people who have not taken their own advice. I don't need your opinion if you have a track record. I can see where you went. Help me to understand through your receipts. That is how I get licensed. If I'm a doctor or I'm a lawyer, the fact is I got receipts. I have this certificate. I have this diploma that says that I've gone through it, that I've went through the process, that I found that I've successfully completed it, and I have authorization. But sometimes people are acting like they have authority, but they don't have authorization. Who authorized you? Can I see your papers? And even, oh Jesus, and even if you think about licensure, and I got some certifications too, but they were issued by a board, and the board issued them. The board can take them away. But not only that, the board says to me, "Hey, this license is good from this time to this time." And even though I gave it to you on maybe in 2021, when 2024 comes, you're gonna have to do these continuing education credits if you're going to maintain what you've already achieved. And so I just want to caution you to be very careful for taking advice from people who have not completed their education or their continuing education credits. They're advising you based on what may have worked in 2000, but this is 2024. They're advising you based on the revelation they received 5 years ago, but God is downloading fresh revelation. The word is the same, but the revelation may be greater. And so I just want to encourage you to check the receipt. Anything I paid for, I got a receipt. Anything I paid a cost for, I got a receipt. Because I sacrificed something to get it. And people can tell me what they think it feels like. Or I think, I looked online and I did this and I researched this. And they say when you go, let's say you go to Texas, this is what it feels like in Texas. And the weather is this and it floods a lot. And that may be true. And you may know it from book knowledge, but baby, I got a receipt. I've been there. I done walked through it. I know where things go. I know how to navigate. Why? Because I got a receipt. Because I walked that thing out. And so I just want to encourage you that we're going to start strong. We're going to stay strong and we're going to finish strong. And if we're looking for a mentor, if we're looking for someone who can help us go through this path and this process, who can help me get to the other side, I need to be somebody who got a receipt. And I may not need you to have the exact receipt that I'm looking for, that I'm aiming for, that I'm striving for. But honey, I need for you to have a receipt that's relevant. I need for you to be able to tell me not what you think, but what you know. And what you know because you've been through it. What you know because you've endured it. What you know because you got the t-shirt. What you know because you got the certificate. In this season, I pray that God will give us leaders after his own heart who can encourage us in the knowledge of God and not their opinion. because many are the plans of the Lord, of man, but it is the Lord's will that will prevail. And so I just want to encourage you again to start strong, to stay strong, so that we can finish strong. Because no matter what has happened, we're still here, we're still standing, and it ain't a devil in hell that can stop us. If I go back to Galatians 5:7, it says, "You did run well. Who hindered you? Who hindered you? Who hindered you from obeying the truth?" Right? Who hindered you from obeying the truth? Meaning that it was my decision when the hindrance came. My response to the hindrance is my responsibility. It's not what comes against me, it's how I respond. Because I may feel like doing one thing, but does that feeling align with my faith? Because we understand that faith is not a feeling. And so I just want to encourage you again, stay strong. That the joy of the Lord is your strength, not the happiness of the Lord, but the joy of the Lord is your strength. This joy that I have, the world didn't give it to me, and the world sure enough can't take it away. And in places where I feel like I don't have enough, in places where I feel like I'm unqualified, in places that I feel like, God, I'm not even sure if I'm qualified, if I speak well enough, if I have the potential. I'm not even sure, but I know that your strength will be made perfect in my weakness. And I know that you would not open a door and allow me to walk in it just to make a fool out of me. And so that is your encouragement for this week. I pray that it bless you. If you feel that this word will be a blessing for anyone else, we do encourage you to like, comment, and share. Again, we just want to encourage you to start strong and to stay strong so that you can finish strong. Thanks again for joining us on Tea Talk Tuesday. We will be back next week, same time, same place. But until then, I do want to encourage you now unto him who is able to do exceedingly abundantly above all we can ask, think, or imagine, according to the power that works in us. So let the power of God work in you, and let God do what only he can do through you. I love y'all. Y'all go have a great rest of your Tuesday, or whatever day you may be watching this. We'll see you next week. Same time, same place.
Learning my lesson now that I'm older. I once thought I had to be all they had planned for me. I'm so glad that I'm a brand new man, yeah. Learning how to walk again, learning how to live again. I'm seeing life from a different point of view. Learning how to smile again, even in the pouring rain. I'm standing on dry ground and I won't sink. Oh, oh, feel like moving on with my life. Moving on, stepping up where I fell down. Oh, I gotta move on. Life, giving myself another chance. The world is mine. Keep on moving forward. Oh. I feel like giving myself a